All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here today. I appreciate you guys joining me for this webinar. As I said before, we will be recording this webinar and it will be available online. So you will be able to watch this again or send it to any other businesses that were unable to join us. But I appreciate you being here with me today. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Anthony Carneseca. I'm the Economic Development Coordinator with the City of Los Altos. You can see my phone number and my email right there. As most of you probably know, I'm available pretty much all the time. So if you need anything, please send me an email or give me a call at that number and I'll be able to reach you back as quickly as possible. I've included links to the City of Los Altos' COVID-19 resource page, as well as our business resources and guidance page. A lot of the presentation today would be redundant to the city's page for business resources, but I'm going to go ahead and try and break it down as easily as possible for all of you. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them in the chat. All right, this is my standard disclosure. I do like to start every webinar with it. I just want to let you all know that I'm not the seer of all seen things, nor of all known things, and I'm doing my best to try and present to you the most accurate information as I know it. However, not everything I say may be accurate depending on changes in orders, changes in state, county interpretations, different things like that. So please make sure that you check everything with the linked organizations, tax professionals, anyone who can provide you with the perfect clarity that I may not be able to if anything is inaccurate. All right, so shelter-in-place orders. I'm going to give you a brief timeline. I know it feels like it's been years, but it's only been about 5 or 6 months since we declared a state of emergency in Los Altos on March 12th. The county then issued a shelter-in-place order. And then on July 3rd, the county did present their new county order that enacted some new business requirements that we have touched on. I hosted a webinar, I want to say mid-July, going over the latest county order. As of now, the county order has not changed from that one. But what has changed is that on August 28th, the state of California unveiled their blueprint for a safer economy. And this shifts the way that they're analyzing and determining the success of counties in their ability to combat COVID-19. So the shelter-in-place order directive, I just like to reiterate so people are aware. I know it feels like life is slowly returning to this new normal, but at the same time, the sheltering in place does mean that you must stay at home unless you're leaving for essential activities, to work for an essential business, or perform minimum basic operations for your employer, or essential travel. At this point in time, under the state order, you cannot host any gatherings at this point where we are in the stage. And then we do encourage that individuals must wear masks when completing essential business and encourage people to wear them whenever they're leaving their home. All right, so an explanation of the orders. As we've all seen, there are different orders from the county and the state, but when two restrictions are both imposed on the same type of business, you must abide by whichever one is more stringent. So under the state's new framework, hair salons and barbershops may open indoors, which is awesome, great news for all of our hair salons and barbershops. But those operations must also comply with the county's directives on personal care, which are a little more stringent than the state. So the state does have a framework which presents what barbershops and hair salons need to do, but the county is obviously a little more strict with what they need to do. So you would need to follow those guidelines. The state of California. So the state of California unveiled this blueprint for a safer economy. It's a completely new framework for the way it works, and it's a 4-tier system. And the nice part about the system is that it's actually based on just 2 criteria, and it's uniform across all 58 counties. So all 58 counties in the state must meet these certain just basic numbers in these 2 categories in order to move through the tiers. So as you can see right here, there's the 4 tiers. They color coded it, so it's a purple, red, orange, yellow. Purple is obviously the worst, heading towards yellow is the good. The 2 numbers and metrics that the state is really looking at is the daily new cases per 100,000 residents. So if you have more than 7 daily new cases of COVID-19 per 100,000 residents, you would end up in this purple tier because that's where you are. If your positive tests, so if you have more than 8% positivity rate on all of your tests that you to conduct in the county, you would end up in the purple tier. Now, if your county, like Santa Clara County, we're currently in the moderate and the purple for new cases, and then orange for the positive tests. You have to be in which you're in whatever tier is the most stringent. So at this point in time, we are in the purple because of the fact that you go with whichever is the most stringent, similar to the county orders. All right. So moving through the tiers. So this is where it gets a little bit confusing. To move forward to a less restrictive tier, so to move from the purple to the red, counties must meet the criteria for the next tier for 14 consecutive days. So, but at a minimum, the county must stay in the tier for 21 days. So the quickest you can move from one tier to another is 21 days. And that would require that those 21 days, 14 of them, the final 14 consecutive days, your numbers were in the next tier's criteria, right? So you must stay 21 days in purple, but if the last 14 days your numbers are in that red zone, those 14 consecutive days would allow you to move into that next tier. I know it's a little bit confusing. If you do have questions, I can try and explain it a little bit better, but that's the easiest way to explain it. And then another point of clarity is that you can only move one tier at a time. So at the very minimum, our county is looking at about, so you'd have 21, 21, 21. So we're about 2 months at the very best. If everything went well, all of our numbers trended down quickly into this yellow tier, we're 2 months away from getting there because you can only move one tier at a time. So depending on where your numbers are, you really want them to move quickly in order to get through these tiers so that way you can have more businesses open. If a county's metrics worsen, which is the worst case scenario, you will move backwards and be assigned to the more restricted tier. The state is calculating these numbers on a 7-day average. So every Tuesday they will release the data. I just went to the state's website and I'll present to you the county's data. So the county of Santa Clara, where are we now? It's important to note that the county's website does have a live Tableau data set where you can scroll over the county and it presents all of the information that you're seeing here. But the really important part is that, and this was new from when I saw it earlier this week, is that the state is presenting the square colors for every Tuesday. So as of now, they have the numbers for August 11th and August 18th. They don't have the 25th and they don't have, what is that, the 1st. They don't have the 1st of September. But the good news for us that I didn't notice before is that we were in the purple for new cases and orange for positive tests on August 11th. On August 18th, the good news is that our new cases were actually in the red and our positive tests were still in the orange. So the good news is that if we have another week or two where our new cases stays in this red range and doesn't enter the purple, we can actually move forward into the next tier, which is awesome news and would be big news for our county. So I'm hoping that they'll release the data for the 25th so we can see where we're at, and then the 1st, because if those numbers are looking good, we may end up moving forward into a new tier, which is good news from my perspective and for everyone around. Like I said, there's live links all throughout this PowerPoint. The most useful one is this Blueprint for a Safe Economy cheat sheet. It really presents what each business is going to be, what type of businesses are going to be impacted by which tier. So at this point in time, retail will be open indoors along with hair salons and barbershops through all tiers, which is good news for those two types of businesses. For shopping centers, they'll be open indoors with modifications. But as you can see, the capacity changes as you move through the tiers. So right now, shopping malls within Santa Clara County are open at a 25% capacity, but the food courts and the common areas should be closed. If we move into that next tier, it's a 50% capacity with closed common areas and reduced food courts. That is going to be where there's going to be all these modifications as we move through that are more specific guidelines that would be on the county's website or on the state's website. I apologize. The good news for a lot of our personal care services, so our nail salons that don't fall under the hair salons and some massage parlors and some other things like that, they would be able to open indoors with modifications if we move into this next tier, which is great news. The unfortunate part is that if we do see our numbers trend back and become worsened, then we would need to move back into that other tier where they would go to outdoor only. So as you can see, the more we move along, the better. Museums, zoos, and aquariums can open indoors with modifications at a 25% capacity. I don't know about the Los Altos History Museum, what they'll be doing, but that's good news to see that there will be some activities that are allowed to reopen indoors with a capacity cap. And then as you can see, this next tier is really where we start to see that things will reopen indoors. Although there will be the capacity numbers that you can see there, most are at 25% capacity or fewer. Fitness centers is at 10%, I think, due to space requirements between individuals. But really the difference between purple and red is pretty stark, right? Once we start to get in this tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, you're going to start to see that more things will be opened and we'll be able to do a lot more indoors. For breweries, wineries, it's going to be a lot more challenging. They need to wait until we're in the orange and yellow tier before they can even really focus on opening indoors. Bars, breweries are kind of in a tough spot under these guidelines. But if they do serve food and they are providing meals, then they would qualify under a restaurant, which restaurants can open indoors at a 25% capacity in tier 2. I don't know if every restaurant will do that. And I say that because I have connected with a few of our restaurants within Los Altos, and they have expressed concerns about having even 25% capacity is still for a lot of people in a space without masks on eating. So it really, like I said, these guidelines present what you're allowed to do. But it's up to the business to decide how they feel safest moving forward and allowing for their customers to and employees to be safe. Offices should stay remote until orange. I don't believe we have any card rooms or satellite wagering. I did see that the city of San Jose was allowing some of their casinos to operate outdoors in parking lots, which is very unique and something that I never expected at the beginning of this year that we would see with COVID, but that's what we have. And professional sports, if you are a sports fan, you will probably not be able to see a live in-person sporting event with fans for a significant amount of time. The County of Santa Clara. So you've seen this before, but I'll go ahead and go through it again. The county does require that employees and customers must wear face coverings, maintain 6 feet from others at all times, and provide hand washing and sanitizing supplies to customers and staff. The density limitations are 250 gross square feet per one worker and one customer per 150 square feet of space open to the public. So please make sure that you are looking at this density limitations and that you are abiding by it in your businesses. And all of our businesses should have completed this by now, but if you have not, please go to covid19prepared.org and submit your social distancing protocol, and they will be able to send you a green check mark that you can put in your window and you will be all set. The one thing is please require your workers to work from home when possible. I know it's difficult with a lot of our businesses, especially our downtown businesses for retail and restaurants, but if you can't have workers work from home, please do. Please report any positive COVID-19 tests within 4 hours if you learn any of your workers. That will just allow the county to begin contact tracing. That's what the biggest thing is moving forward to assist us working through those tiers. All right, here's your green check mark. Currently, at the entrance of any business within the county, you should see these two signs. If you do not see these two signs, then they are not in compliance. You should also see information about wearing masks. It doesn't necessarily need to be these signs. These are just some free posters that I think are available online, but anything encouraging people to wear masks and be socially distant. I've seen some creative hand-drawn signs. Whatever works for your business is completely fine with the county as long as you have something. At this time, businesses that must remain closed, like we've discussed, are all of these. This is from the county's latest, or the county order in July. So the county order in July did require that these remain closed. I believe if we move into the next tier and there's any issues between the state and the county order, the county would provide clarity on what exactly they're going to start allowing within the county based upon the tiered chart, the cheat sheet that we showed earlier. And then here's specific industry directives. So if your business falls under any of these are live links. I'll send a copy of this PowerPoint out, and it will be available on the city's website for you to take a look. You can go through exactly what the county is suggesting for each type of business. So for personal services, I know I did this before in our July webinar, so I'll go through it pretty quickly, but I do want to make sure that you have this information if you need it. All personal service businesses must provide service by appointment only, require clients to wait outside, and conduct a verbal screening of all guests before entry. Have you tested positive for COVID in the past 14 days? Have you come into contact with anyone positive? Do you feel feverish? Do you have any symptoms? And you must create and retain a log of appointments for a minimum of 60 days. So we want to make sure that you do have a way to track and identify who has been in your business in the past 60 days if you're a personal service. All personal service businesses must pretty much close any common areas within their store and remove anything that people would touch or really engage with physically or stay inside for a prolonged period of time besides the actual location where the personal service will be provided. Your workers must have surgical masks, eye protection, and a disposable smock that they can change in between appointments along with gloves. Everyone must wear face coverings at all times. So please make sure that not only your employees, but also your customers are wearing face coverings. All personal service businesses must require workers and clients to wash hands before and after service. They can't use their cell phones during service, which I know is a little frustrating for people, but it's in order to make sure that the sanitization isn't impacted by the cell phone. And then regularly disinfect and clean all of your furniture between clients. So when a client leaves, please make sure that you wipe everything down and disinfect it, either with a Lysol wipe or anything else you can to make it as safe as possible for all of your customers. Other requirements, I know that this is a struggle for our makeup stores and our estheticians, but services on the face and neck are prohibited. Install physical barriers where possible, especially for nail service. So if you can install the plexiglass to really make sure that even when you're facing one another to do manicures, that they are separated and you're not breathing on one another, even if you have a mask on. No sampling of products, no handling of items by clients. And if you do have tenants, so if you do have sublease any of your chairs in your salon, please make sure that they sign a statement indicating that they accept the responsibility and then that they provide it to you so you can submit it to the county. And then outdoor dining. Outdoor dining hasn't changed a lot. You can only serve food and beverages in outdoor areas. Face coverings are required at all times when you're not consuming any food or drinking any beverages. Alcohol may only be sold in the same transaction as meals, so no effective outdoor bars can exist. You must provide food as well as drinks. No live entertainment per the county's request at this time. We are working with them to try and identify if that applies to all entertainment and what that's going to look like, especially as we move forward through the state's new guidelines. Tables should be at least 10 feet apart from the nearest table to allow 6 feet of separation between guests at all times. The county has clarified that you can come a little closer than 10 feet if you do have dividing between the dining tables. So if there's some type of impermeable barrier that really protects diners from one another, you can be a little bit closer than 10 feet, but they should be safe distance apart. No self-service at this time for restaurants. So enforcement of the order. The Santa Clara County Board of Supervisors did adopt an urgency ordinance that did allow any sworn peace officer, county employee, or other individual designated by the health officer to issue notices of violations. These are essentially fix-it tickets. So you would have 72 hours to fix the problem, and if you do, then the citation would go away. But if you're not able to, then the citations would be pretty hefty. At this point in time, I do believe the citations would be between $250 to $5,000. And then there would be a daily citation fee if you're not able to fix it. So every day that you're in violation of the county order, there would be an additional fee. At this point in time, with the fix-it ticket, it really is about education. The county, the city, everyone involved really wants to make sure that our businesses are abiding by the health orders at this time. And we really want to make sure that it's focused on education and improving the safety of all of our residents and customers. At this point in time, I will say that the city is in talks with other cities within the county. There's a committee to identify who's going to be exactly enforcing the order, because at this point in time, it's kind of fallen between the county and the city and not really sure who's going to be in charge. I should have more information available in the coming weeks about who exactly from the city, if anyone, will be enforcing the order. All right, the eviction moratorium. This is kind of an important caveat. The county did approve their eviction moratorium to be extended through September 30th, 2020, but there were 2 or 3 different assembly bills that went through the state in the past couple days. I think they are headed to the governor's desk today to look at eviction moratoriums that kind of supersede anything at the local level. My understanding is that they're trying to make it statewide, uniform approach to this, so that way people will not be evicted. I do believe that under the state's new requirements, you will need to provide written proof of the burden that you've incurred as a result of COVID-19. If you do have any questions about it, please reach out to me. I'm still trying to wrap my head around exactly what the state is allowing or not allowing. And once I have that, I will post it on the city's website as well as send it out through email. All right, so a little bit about the City of Los Altos' response. We have been doing community morale campaigns. You could probably see them when you're going through the city. We've been updating our websites as well as social media. Our mayor, Jan Pepper, as well as our city manager, Chris Jordan, have been doing virtual town halls. And we do send out a weekly city manager update with all of the updates from the city to provide in one place for our residents and businesses. Oh, we do not. I'm going to click on that. Oh, there we go. The City of Los Altos does have 2 hotlines. The Community Connection, which is available Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 p.m., 650-947-2790. And then our Senior Connection. So if you know any seniors within the City of Los Altos who don't know how to find access to different methods of support or need resources, guidance, including grocery delivery, please have them give this number a call. These are also on the city's website. So what is the City of Los Altos doing for small businesses? We're connecting with the Chamber, Lava, La Pod, and the Town Crier on a regular basis to try and release information as quickly and effectively as possible, especially as new orders come out. We are working individually with business owners and employees. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to me. I'm more than happy to meet with you individually via Zoom, or I can socially distance converse with you at your business. We do update our website. We've held webinars like the one you're watching now. One of our best webinars was with the Silicon Valley Small Business Development Center, where they did cover a lot of the resources that are available. We did have the Los Altos Small Business Relief Fund, where we provided grants to small businesses. That's closed at this time. What's Open Los Altos is a website where I think I'm getting to the next slide. I don't want to skip ahead. Open Streets Los Altos is a collaborative effort where we tried to find a way to really help our restaurants and retailers react to the call from the county for outdoor services and really trying to find a way to help all of our businesses succeed. What's Open losaltos.org is a collaborative effort of the Chamber of Commerce, LaPod, Lava, and the City of Los Altos. It's a website with information on how to support small businesses. If you'd like to see your website or your business on there, as well as any online sales that you'd like to add to that webpage, please contact me, or Lava would be a great resource. So you could send Scott an email, scott@downtownlosaltos.org. And then some financial resources. So I know in the beginning of COVID, there were a lot of grants and a lot of loans and a lot of programs available. We're starting to see it die down a little bit, but there still are some financial resources. From the federal government, the PPP has been closed, but the Economic Disaster Injury Loan is still available. If you are interested in applying, you can click the link here and apply online through the Small Business Administration. It is a higher interest loan, but it is 30 years. So it does give you more time to pay back the loan if you need money and you want to keep your business going. From the state, there is the iBank loan program. At this point in time, there are actually some other programs through iBank that we're currently exploring. I'm waiting to hear back from the state. I believe we're going to have a presentation from iBank on the different programs that they have. They are really trying to provide financial solutions for disadvantaged businesses. So businesses that traditionally don't see a lot of funding. I know that a lot of our businesses are struggling, and so this would be a great resource to check out, which is the California Governor's Office of Business, which is iBank, and I'm more than happy to connect you if you'd like. And then Silicon Valley Community Foundation did start the Small Business Relief Fund, which is providing loans for small businesses within the county. So if you would like to receive a loan, please reach out to the Opportunity Fund, which is a bank that is located, I believe, in downtown San Jose, and they'll be able to help you with that. One thing I want to make clear is to be aware of loan scams. Loan scams are happening, and really question if someone calls you and says they're connected to a loan or money that you've received from a different organization. Please push back and make sure that you are talking to someone from that organization. We don't want to see any of our businesses fall prey to any scams that are out there. Other resources are available. The Families First Coronavirus Response Act, it's still live through the end of this year. It does provide employees with paid sick leave or FMLA leave if they need to take care of someone who has COVID-19, if they have COVID-19, or different things like that. So please make sure that you're up to date on that if you do have any employees who come to you and say they need time off related to COVID-19. And then here's a list of links to the county's resources. The most important one I want to highlight, I really do appreciate the partnership with the Silicon Valley Small Business Development Center. They have a full fleet of business development specialists who will be happy to meet with any business that has any questions about small business. And then once again, here's my information. I'm Anthony Carneseca. You can give me a call at 650-947-2620 or send me an email at acarneseca@losaltosca.gov. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat. I'm going to go through them right now. All right. Where do stage theaters fall on the chart? That is a great, hard question to lead off with. Thank you, Scott. Let me see. I'm going to go back to the chart. Stage theaters. My guess would be that stage theaters may, I would guess that they would fall into movie theaters. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and double check on that because I don't want to provide you with the wrong answer, but I am gonna work to see if I can figure that out. So I'll send an email to my contact at the state and get clarity, but I really do think that they would probably fall under movie theaters out of any of those sectors. That's probably the most similar. It's okay, Scott. I'm just teasing you. I will go ahead and get an answer for the stage theaters, and I will go ahead and get back to you. Any other questions? Nope. Okay. It was only about 30 minutes, the presentation. I know it was scheduled for an hour. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat. I'll give another minute if you have anything. Perfect. Okay, I will go ahead and figure out where stage theaters fall in the chart, and I will report back. But I want to say that I really appreciate you joining me this morning. I really appreciate everything that our businesses and our business organizations are going through during this time. And I really want to say profound thank you to everyone who's helping the city and our businesses through this difficult time. I know that none of us really expected to be here 6 months later, still trying to adapt to different things. And I really want to thank every business that is in Los Altos and really trying to make their best through this time. If you have any questions, this is my contact information. Don't be afraid to reach out to me if you have any questions. Thank you so much and have a good day.